What's going on, boys and girls? It is Parmigiana Day. Um, the fam is back from their fun in the sun, so I'm making one of my wife's and my son and I's favorite dish. She loves my eggplant parm. I love chicken parm. So does my son. So we're doing both today. Um, I do my eggplant parm and my chicken parm a little different. I don't soak anything in the sauces or anything like that. I like my chicken breast to be crispy. I like it cheesy. I like the sauce. We're gonna make a nice marinara. Um, we are of course making our own breadcrumbs. That way you can control what's in them. You control the flavor that's in them. Um, that's pretty much it. So um, just with reference to the grilling and the barbecue, weather's just been nasty, and I've been crazy busy out in the garage. So I'm everything's kind of just a mess out there. Um, but I'm going to get back to it. So I'm about to finish some things. I have some news on the rotisserie. Somebody's actually, you know what? We're going to save that for another video. So anyway, let's get going. First off, let's get our breadcrumbs going. So I just got some couple loaves of Italian here. You can use French also, but you know, Italian breadcrumbs, Italian bread. Nice and crusty on the outside, soft on the inside. This is very simple. Um, there's really no, I don't know. There's no reason to really buy any. You can make some seriously good breadcrumbs, and you can adapt them to whatever you're doing. Or you could just make a bunch of them, put them in a container, and you're done. You got to figure two of these loaves right here, or one full big loaf. It's $1, man. So you can't find breadcrumbs that cheap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right down the center here, just like that. And then all I'm going to do is go down the center again and again. And then we're just going to cube them like, you know, 1 inch cubes, whatever. You don't want them too big because you want them to dry out when we bake them. But, you don't have to waste a bunch of time cutting them small either because, they'll cook out, but you don't want the outsides to burn before, and the shirt's going to annoy me, before the inside gets dried out. So we're just going to bang this out real quick. You could use a serrated knife. Probably treat you a little bit better than what this thing's doing to me right now, but I'm not going to dirty two knives. All right, so now we got our bread. I just got a piece of foil on this pan here, just simply because when I'm done, all I have to do is throw the foil away. So we're just going to toss some like that on there. Lay out your bread, just like so. Just like that. And then hit it with a little more oil on top. Just kind of spread it around. And then we'll season this afterwards. But just to dry everything out, we're just going to hit it with some salt. This will help dry things out. Helps give it just a nice little thing. And some pepper. This is going to bake in. And then we're going to take all of the stuff that's on the bottom of the pan, or, when it's finished, all the little crusties and all that other good stuff that's had a chance to cook in the oil, and we're going to use that as well. So 425, toss it in the oven. Alexa, set a timer for 8 minutes. You go 8 minutes on that. Now, your eggplant. This is a must if you're making eggplant parm. So cut my end off here, and I'm going to square my other end off. Now I'm going to be able to make a stacked one. I usually do 3. So I usually cut them about a 1/2 inch thick. Just like so. Just like that. And then one smaller one. All right. Try to keep them kind of in order because then they fit. You know what I'm saying? Take a little pan here. I just have some paper towel underneath this. And we are just going to throw our eggplant right on there, keeping them in order. Not that you can't see, you know, but it helps. Just like so. And again, we are going to dry these out. So we're going to hit this side with a little salt. No oil, no moisture, nothing like that. We're just going to salt them lightly. Nothing crazy. Just like so. Now, just going to throw these in the fridge. I'm just going to let them sit. Let these sit for about an hour. Then I'm going to flip them. I'm going to salt the other side lightly. Let them sit for another hour. The longer the better, but you just want that moisture out of that eggplant. Otherwise, it gets soggy, it gets mushy, it's nasty. This will give you a nice bite after you fry it. It'll allow you to keep that crispiness. It's just good stuff, man. So that's what we're gonna do there. I'm gonna throw these in the fridge. Let those dry out, and then we are going to prep our chicken breasts. So I don't like you. I don't like raw chicken on my wood board. So I'm going to pull this guy out. And just to keep it honest, I'm going to throw a dish mat, a dry mat underneath it. Just like so. Oh my goodness. If you need anything, let me know, okay? All right, so then we got our breasts. These are some big boys. Definitely not some chickens I want to run into a dark alley at night, but can you say hormones? All right, so all I'm going to do, I'm going to trim some of this fat off of here. We don't need it. Any of that silver, we don't need that. This edge, see that edge in this right here? That little cud line? I am just going to take that right off of there. And I am going to square off the other side. So that way we look like that. I'm going to do the rest. And then what we're going to do is we're going to separate these because, well, for one, there's zero reason to have a chicken parm breast that thick, in my opinion, of course. And they take forever to cook. So then they end up drying out. And nobody likes dry chicken breasts. All right. So, oh, what do we got here? Oh, nice. All right. So now I like to take it, give her a little slappy slap. What are you doing? Even it out nice. Start from this fat side right here. And I start my cut on the thin side, so that way I know I'm not going too thin on the thin side. The thick side, we're going to pound them out anyway, so it doesn't matter. But the last thing we want is not enough on our thin side. And then we're just going to bring them down. So now we have two breasts. Again, I'm going to start here. This one's backwards, so it is what it is. And just like that. Butterfly them out. Slice it down the center. Yeah, I know I'm not doing any of the fast forward stuff. I'll see what I can do in editing, but, you know, I don't know. You know, I just cook, guys. This isn't production value. I don't make you sit through ads. I don't tell you to buy shit. So you can bear with me on some of my longer talks and rants, right? It's fair. All right, so now we got that. And what I'm going to do is I like to use a bag. You could just cover this with saran wrap, but I've had instances where the saran wrap just makes a mess, man. So I take about 3 of these guys. That's plenty of room. Zip them up. Leave a corner open. That way it can breathe. And then we are just going to take our pounder, which is, I don't feel like putting together my other one. Here we go. I knew I had one somewhere. All right. So I got in trouble. My wife's office is right above the kitchen, and she's in a call, and I'm down here beating the hell out of these things. So, anyway, get them in the bag and just beat them like they owe you money, and start from the fat end and just kind of pound on a slight angle towards the thin end. That way you get nice, even, all the way around chicken breasts. So the other ones I have in a bag because I only need to make 3. So I'm going to put those away, and I'm going to do those up for some lunch prep and just to have them around, maybe taco night, whatever. So anyway, we got these guys right here. All I'm going to do, I don't want them fully dried out, but I want them just kind of take what's going on. So I'm just going to throw these guys on a sheet pan, on a piece of parchment paper, just like that. And I'm just going to put them in the fridge. So we're just going to have these guys in the fridge. We're going to have our eggplant in the fridge drying out. And then I'm going to get working on the breadcrumbs. Okay, so we got the food processor here. What we're going to do is we're going to do this in batches. Don't worry about overloading it. I mean, it's dried bread. The stuff will disintegrate, but you want to be able to close your lid. So smash them in there. And now, if you have some Italian seasoning, go ahead and use that because that's probably the easiest thing that you can do. If not, a typical Italian seasoning is, little garlic, oregano, basil, marjoram, um, uh, rosemary, sage, that kind of stuff. So you can put together a little concoction. Try to find my teaspoon. Or, like I said, if you have some Italian seasoning, go ahead and use that. So I'm going to do about 2 teaspoons, or I'm sorry, 1 teaspoon per batch of the Italian seasoning, which would mean, oh man, now you got me doing math. I don't know, do like a half a teaspoon of each if you're putting together independently. You know what I mean? This is just the straight up, this stuff is super handy. That's it. The Lighthouse Italian herb blend, man. It's great to have. They're freeze dried. They're not quite as bad as like the dried stuff, but you got to remember the dried stuff has more of a kick. It's a little bit different, but it does have more of a kick. And then I'm going to do an independent teaspoon of granulated garlic and a independent teaspoon of granulated onion. And get your lid on it and just pulse it. So we're just going to do that until we get nice fine crumbs. Dump it. Okay, so we got her all blended up. You'll notice there's some, some of the larger ones, a little bit smaller. You want some texture, Just add that to the bowl here. Make some room. Watch them ninja blades. Things will bite you. See? See what we got? Nice. Give her a little try. Yum. All right, so I'm going to take all of our little pan goodies off the foil here. Toss them in there. Just like that, guys. All right, let's get our station. All right, so we're going to set up our station here. This right here. We'll crack a couple eggs in. Should only need 2, really. We're only doing 3 breasts, but I try to go about 1 or so per breast, You can always add an egg. I'd rather add one than waste eggs. So we're just going to give this a little love. All right. Now, on our first plate, I use styrofoam simply because less dishes, man. So we're going to do, I don't know, half cup of regular all-purpose flour. And then, I'm letting you in on my secrets here, guys. Semolina flour. Adds an awesome crispiness to it. So we got a half cup of half cup of all-purpose. We're gonna do nice heavy quarter cup or so of the semolina. It adds just such a nice crispiness, and stuff is awesome, man. Seriously. And then we are going to add a little bit of granulated garlic, if I can find my spoon. We already salted our crumbs, so we don't need any. So I got about a teaspoon going in there. Teaspoon of granulated onion. We are going to drop about a teaspoon of black pepper in there. And then, again, you can add just some oregano, honestly. You just want to add just a little bit of earthiness underneath that chicken, underneath that bread. So I'm just going to use a teaspoon of the Italian seasoning. So now, make sure your fork's dry. Just give it a little toss. Try to get it incorporated the best you can. Just like that. All right, now let's start dredging. Let me grab our chicken. Now this is where I'm going to start racking it. So I'm actually just going to set my rack up over here because I'm going to put it on the same pan. But man, I miss my old big island. Oh. Soon. Soon, soon, soon. All right. So we're going to take first breast. We're going to go in our flour mixture first. And yes, I'm doing this all ahead of time. This way, everything has a chance to kind of just, the flavors come in and you know, stuff like that. And then when the breading is actually on your chicken for a little while, it only gets better. It will stay on your chicken and it will fry beautifully. And we're just going to do just an easy, shallow pan fry on this. So it's not going to be anything crazy. We're just going to get it golden and we're going to finish them in the oven. So we got a little flour. We're going to drop that guy right in our egg. Make sure she's coated well. The semolina sticks so nicely. And then into our breadcrumbs. And coat it. Coat the top while it's laying in there. You want to press it. I'm going to be doing a lot more chicken. Now, typically, you would have just taken this out, put it on a plate or whatever. But I'm using all of this because I have some other stuff that I got going on. So don't think I'm doing all the chicken and then going to put the breadcrumbs away. You know what I mean? So, and if you're not going to use all the breadcrumbs, you know, throw some out on a plate. I just want to make sure she's nice and coated. Look at that. That right there, boys and girls. Yum. See how them different chunks, freshly made breadcrumbs. We know exactly what's in them. We know the flavor that they're putting out. That's the good stuff there, guys. All right, I'm going to bang the rest of this out. I'll be back. Okay, let's check it out. Look at that, guys. Nice and crusted. We got some of the bigger chunks in there. They're going to fry up. Oh, man, it's good stuff. So let me throw these in the fridge. And those are just going to stay until game time, man. Now, I just pulled our eggplant out. This is going to be hard to see on the camera. But look at that. Do you see all the beads of water on top of the eggplant? That's all that moisture that got wicked out. So I'm just going to pat that all off. Up here so you can see what I'm doing. Just a dry piece of paper towel. Pat that off. Flip them over. Make sure the other side is the same. Yum. Just like that. All right. Now, with our eggplant, we are going to resalt a little bit. Got some fresh egg here. I pulled some of our crumbs from the bottom of the bowl, and we did our flour over here. So same process. Flour, press it, spin it. Make sure you get a nice coat. Try to get it around them edges too. Into our wash, just like so. Into our crumbs. Again, use the breadcrumbs to splash and to press on. They stick just way better. Just like that. Give her another flip. Make sure the other side is nice. Just like that, guys. Beautiful. All right, I'm going to bang these out. All right, guys, check it out. Look at that. Some good looking eggplant. So, again, in the fridge. And like I was saying, you could do this ahead of time. I mean, chicken parm or, I mean, honestly, any type of Parmigiana is pretty much a pain in the ass to do. I mean, it's involved, it's time consuming, that kind of stuff. So you can have all this stuff ready to go. And then essentially all you got to do is just cook it. This is the hard stuff. Cooking, it's easy. So you can have it all prepped out. I mean, I do this with a lot of things. I mean, everybody asks about time and, you know, making this and making that and, every night, that kind of stuff. But a little bit of prep goes a long way, man. That's all I got to say. So now we are going to go back to our boy here, and I am actually going to prep the sauce. Now, I like to do a cold prep sauce and let it sit. I've just found that by doing so, it just builds up so much flavor and it just gets so good. And then you just, some onions in a pan, you heat everything up, you let it simmer for a little while, and then that even just melds everything together. So I know you've heard me talk many times, San Marzano tomatoes. You just can't beat it. Always look for the seal. Don't look for San Marzano region. They're worth it. They're worth the extra dollar or whatever. They will make everything you do with tomatoes 2,000 times better, man. So these are whole peeled. They're going right in there. All the kids in the pool. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take some oregano, which I should have already had chopped up, but I didn't. Just pull her off the stems. Doesn't have to be crazy. We're blending them. So I'm going to use about, 2 sprigs? I'm going to use about 3 sprigs. You can never go wrong with oregano, in my opinion. It's like the garlic of herbs. Love oregano. Adds just so much, I don't know, it's just earthy. It's wonderful. So we're going to do that. I'm just going to do a quick rough. We're going to toss him in. Just like so. Now I'm going to do a few balls of garlic. Nice fresh garlic here. You can use the minced stuff. I love the minced stuff. But when it comes to like my sauces, it's probably just in my head, in all honesty. But I just feel like just fresh smashed garlic just does so much better. Especially when it comes to any type of tomato sauce. I don't know if it has something to do with the acidity from the tomato. I don't know what it is. I have no idea. I'd pretty much just be guessing, but like I said, it could just be in my head. So again, we're just gonna just lightly chop these up just to make it a little easier on the blender. So now we have our garlic in there. We have our oregano in there. Now this is where things are gonna get a little buck wild, guys. There's 2 things more that I put in there. One was actually a little thing my mom used to do. A lot of people add sugar to balance out, for that sweetness to balance out the acidity in the tomatoes. Grape jam, man. I know, but it works. And it adds its own little thing to it, too. I mean, come on. Grapes, Italian. I mean, seriously. So all I'm going to do is put a light teaspoon of grape jam in there. You can use jelly, too. I'm just a jam guy, and that's it. So that, and then we are going to take some Parmesan, and I'm just going to microplane some of that in there. Use your eye on that, just however you think. You don't want too much of it, otherwise it'll really take over the body of the sauce, and it'll give you a texture that's just not the same. But you know, don't be scared. And then, of course, we're just going to give her a pinch of salt, pinch of pepper. Find my lid wherever I may have put it. There it is. And just give her a love. Put it on puree. Just like that. So here we have our marinara. I'm just gonna give this a little taste to see where we're at. It's perfect. Needs a little salt, but I'll salt it and season at the end when I'm cooking it. So now I'm just gonna cover this. Here, give me a better look at that. Look at that. Come on. So I'm just gonna cover this and I'm just gonna put it in the fridge until it's game time with everything else. So, and then that's pretty much it. So we have our eggplant prepped up. We have our chicken prepped up. We have our sauce made. That's it. What else do we have to do? All we got to do is we're going to fire up the carbon. And I think I'm using the carbon tonight. I'll probably use the carbon. Carbon steel, cast iron, whatever. And a non-reactive pan, typically stainless or whatever I use. I never put anything acidic, any tomato ever in my carbon steel or my cast iron. I just don't, man. I'm not. It's not good for it. I know there's a lot of people that say that's not true, but I don't care what you say. That's just the way I do it. I'm not going to put anything acidic in my carbon steel or my cast iron pans. So I use a stainless for that. Don't use Teflon. Don't use a reactive pan when you're making anything with acid, anything with tomatoes. I don't know. That's just me. Everybody's got one. I mean, you can't tell me you don't have a pan that's not nonstick. I think everybody does, especially if you're watching videos about cooking. Chances are you have something that's a non-reactive pan, whether it's copper or stainless steel or something. But anyway, that's it. We'll get our sauce going. We'll do up our chicken. We'll toss them in the oven. We got some fresh mozzarella for them. Um, that's it. I'm going to make my everything oil bread, and we're eating good. So I'll be back. Let's cook. All right. So I got here. Come on over here. How about that? So we got popping over here. Uh, got my water starting to boil. Got a little bit of salted butter here in this pan, about 2 tablespoons. So we're gonna go through. I'm gonna brown this up. You guys know how I like my browned butter. Just adds so much flavor, just to get it dark, just so you can smell that nuttiness, man. And then what I'm gonna do is we are just gonna throw just a little bit of onion in there. I'm gonna finely chop it, just for that flavor. Got to have a little onion in your marinara. That's, I don't know. I feel like that's just a must. So not much. Just gonna toss them in there. It's about a half of a yellow onion, and I'm just going to just sweat that down a little bit until she gets translucent, softens up, and then we will add the rest of our sauce in. All right, got our onion softened up, darkened up real nice. Now we're just going to, I'm on high heat, by the way. I got 3 cloves of garlic. I just minced up. Just going to put that in there just bloom it out. Let it get fragrant. Let it wake up a little bit. Just like that. Oh, man, look at that dark onions. Beautiful. And then Let's add that beautiful sauce that we made earlier. Woohoo! Just like that, guys. Beautiful. All right, I'm gonna mix this in. Just like that. All right, I'm gonna bring that up to like just a slow, low boil, and then we'll bring it down to simmer. Add the rest of our seasoning, a little bit of fresh herb, and all right, we got our sauce. Got a nice boil going. I'm gonna take her down about a medium low. Give her a couple of stirs, and then we're gonna toss in our fresh oregano. This is just 2 sprigs. Gonna get her in there. Get it mixed up all nice. Oh, damn it. Splash some of that. All right, so I'm gonna let that just kind of simmer a little bit, and we're gonna get our oil. All right, here we are. We got our oil. You know, I'm not very technical when it comes to certain things. When I start seeing it dance, that ripple, I know it's ready. So you don't ever overcrowd it. Do your stuff in batches. Beautiful. So, man, let me grab my tongs. I guess I use the grilling tongs. Just going to push that off to the side. I'm going to do 2 of these breasts. Beautiful. All right, so I'm going to let them go just for a couple minutes on one side. Flip them over. All I want is to see that nice dark golden color, that nice crispiness. Then we're going to throw them on our sheet pan. We'll get everything else done, and then we're going to finish everything off in the oven. All right, so it's been a couple minutes. Get you here a little bit closer. Look at that. Oh, man. Come on. Look how beautiful it is, guys. How about this one? You know what? I'm going to give that one just another minute because it got in there a little bit after. And it's offset just a little bit here. So, all right, I'm going to let that go for another minute. Flip it over. Get some color on the other side. All right. Pull this guy out. Look at that, guys. Come on. That's beautiful. Nice and crispy. Look at how nice that is. Oh, it smells so good. And just let me double check the bottom of this one. She's looking pretty good too. Stripping off any of that excess, you know. All right. So now I'm just going to give the pan just a couple of seconds just to get that temp back up. Bring my heat down a little bit. I can tell she's starting to rip. And then I'm going to throw the other breast in there, and I'll throw a couple of the eggplant in. Now, the eggplant, you want to make sure that you have your oil hot. I'd say at least 375. Sorry about that. I had a phone call. All right. So, like I was saying, you just want it hot because otherwise, that eggplant, you don't want it greasy. You know? You do not want greasy eggplant. So, I'm going to take my other breast here. I'm going to get him in the pan. And you know what? Since that thing is so big, I'm actually just going to do him, and then I'll get the eggplant in when I get that oil hot. Because she's a big old girl right there, so she definitely brought that temp. All right, let's get her eggplant in now. Nice and hot. I'm going to do 4. I'm going to let them go for just a couple minutes. Same thing. All I'm looking for is color. So everything will finish off in the oven. And we dried them out using the salt and, in the fridge. So you don't need to pull so much moisture out of them. You know, we don't have to worry about it. They'll cook quickly, and you'll still have a nice bite in them. They won't get mushy. They'll be good. All right, there we got our beautiful golden and toasty eggplants. Look at that, guys. Come on, it's awesome. It's good stuff. I don't really even like eggplant, but my wife loves eggplant parm. She loves my eggplant parm and her mom's eggplant parm, which oddly enough is like two completely different things. So beautiful. All right, I'm just gonna let the oil recover for a minute, and I'll get the rest of them fried up. All right, let's build some Parmesan. So we're gonna take our first one here. We're gonna lay it out. Lay it out. And one of the small ones here, since we know we got one of them guys going. And I'm trying to make sure I have enough room so I don't only have to use one pan. And that should be okay, right? One, two, yeah, that'll work. All right, so we start out right here, and we grab our Parmesan.
Why do you use fresh Parmesan and not the in the can?
The stuff in the can is not even real cheese. All right, so we're just going to microplane some of that right on here, right on top of the eggplant. Not much. And then we are going to take some of our sauce. Just put a little in there. Just like that. And then we are going to take another one. And we are going to get them right here. Just like so. And then we're going to take some more Parmesan. Just like that. A little more sauce. Want everything to stay crispy. You'll have plenty of sauce at the end, so you don't want to soak them all down. And now, let's cap everything off. Just like that. Just like so. And again, Parmesan. We're going to put a little dab of sauce on the top. And then we are going to throw our fresh mozzarella right on top. Don't be stingy. Let it get ooey gooey and run down those beautiful towers of the yumminess right there. So there's the eggplant parm. Now let's bang one chicken out just so you can see it. It's basically way easier. Again, Parmesan. Oh, come on. You can't say eggplant parm is better than chicken parm.
Eggplant parm is by far better than chicken parm.
Oh my goodness. Does anybody know a good divorce attorney? All right.
I know, because I'm going to need one.
So this right here is just a blend. I know. Oregano, flat Italian leaf parsley, and arugula, finely chopped. Just give her some of it. You get the earthiness from the oregano, the parsley, and then you just get that nice pepperiness from arugula. I think if you've watched me, you know how much of a fan of arugula I am. And then on our chicken, sauce, always under the cheese. Remember that.
Why?
That's just the way it works. You want that cheese to encapsulate that sauce on top of that chicken and hold it all in there. So that's it. There's our eggplant parm and our chicken parm. I'm going to bang the rest of these out. All right. So, oh man, a tripod is just, it is just on its last limb, man. Fighting this thing. It's busted in 3 places. All right. So then just in the oven, I got her at 425, top rack. Let that go like 8, 10 minutes. All right, guys. This is our Parmigiana. So, first off, I'm going to take this guy out of here. I'm going to throw him on. And then I'm going to take this guy, throw him down. And I'm going to give my son the big boy because he loves his chicken parm. Then let me grab my tongs. I'm going to keep this simple. This is a bucatini. It's a little bit thicker spaghetti, but what's awesome about it is it has ribs on it and it's hollow inside. So it really holds onto the sauce. Plus, it's got a nice bite to it, nice chew to it. I really like it. Just like so. Again, some Parmesan on them noodles. A little bit around the plate. A little love. Sprinkle some of these guys around. And hit it with our sauce. The rest of that over here. Just like so. And hit it with our little herb blend. That's it, guys. I'm not going to taste it. The video's long. I know what it tastes like. I've made it a million times. And there's probably a few of you guys that are probably going to rage out at the length of the video and go kick the neighbor's mailbox over. So we're going to end it right there. And that's it.